Hi, hopefully you've watched a few of our other videos about multiplying with fractions. We talked about using a number line. We've talked about using a model. We've also talked about repeat addition. Today we're going to use the traditional method. I'm going to do a quick reteach of the model method so that we can use it to check our traditional method. So if I have 4 times 1/3, I'm actually going to do 2/3. 4 times 2/3, I have 4 wholes, and I'm breaking them into thirds. And each third, I'm going to highlight 2 of them. So now you can see that I have 4 2/3. Here's 1 2/3, 2 2/3, 3 2/3, and 4 2/3. What I'm going to do is I'm going to count how many 2/3 I have together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that is 8 thirds. And that's an improper fraction, so what I need to do is I need to change it into a mixed number. So to do that, I take 8, and I'm going to divide it by 3. Well, 3, 6, 9. 9 is too far, so I'm going to go 6. 2 times 3 is 6. Subtract 6 from 8, and I'm going to get 2. Put that down just a little bit. Okay. So my new number is going to be 2, and now my remainder becomes my numerator, and I'm going to keep my thirds as my denominators. So 8 thirds is the same or equivalent to 2 and 2/3. 4 times 2/3 is 2 and 2/3. But how would I do that with the traditional method? Well, let's check it out. I'm going to leave that up so we can compare as we go. So to multiply by a fraction, I need to have both the numbers in a fraction form. How would I write 4 wholes as a fraction? Well, 4 over 1 would be 4. And I'm going to multiply it by 2/3. And to do this, I multiply straight across. So here we go. 4 times 2 is 8. 1 times 3 is 3. So you'll notice that we got 8 thirds. So with 8 thirds, we know when we simplify it, we're going to get 2 and 2/3. So that's the traditional way to multiply fractions. Let's look at how we would do this with a mixed number, though. We have a whole number. What about a mixed number, or what about just a fraction? Let's do a fraction times a fraction for fun. Why not? So let's do 2/5. Oh, I want to write it straight. 2/5, there we go, times 1/3. 2/5 times 1/3. Well, I'm going to follow the rule, multiply straight across the numerators. 2 times 1 is 2. 5 times 3 is 15. So 2/5 times 1/3 would be 2/15. All right, that wasn't too bad, right? If I take it step by step, then it makes it much easier. Let's try a mixed number. What if I had 2 1/3 times 1/2? Well, what I need to do is I need to change the mixed number into an improper fraction. So here we go, the Texas 2-step. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, so 7 thirds, times 1/2. Make my 1 a little taller. And I'm going to multiply straight across, so 7 times 1 is 7. 3 times 2 is 6. So I have 7/6. Well, again, we're at an improper fraction. This one I can do in my head. I know I would need 6/6 to make a whole, and that would give me 1 extra. So this would be 1 and 1/6. So 2 1/3 times 1/2 is 1/6, my 6 looks a little bit crooked over there. There we go. Is 1 1/6. I can also kind of figure out if I did it right because half, I'm pretty okay with halves. I know half of 2 would be 1. And if I cut 1/3 in half, well, I could draw myself a model here. Here's my third. I'm going to cut it in half, each piece in half, and get 1/6. So if I practice with a problem that I know, it kind of helps solidify the math rules for me for problems that I don't know. That's a really good problem solving tip, is solve a problem that's similar, but one that you know how to solve, and then use those same steps to help you figure out a more difficult problem. I hope you have a great rest of your day.